All right. Hello, hello, hello. All right, we're in the home stretch, aren't we, folks? Big 3 days, yeah? Yeah, okay, cool. A little shot of me. Woo, awesome. So something I've been thinking a lot about lately is how much we've been taught to believe that becoming is success, identity, growth, all that's an individual journey. The subtle pressure to figure it out all by yourself as an individual, all on your own. But you know what? If you actually look at your life, think about it for a minute with me. Who shaped you? Who's helped you? Who's reflected you back to yourself? We don't become in isolation. We become in proximity to each other. For me, I feel and I listen for the click. Theater, college, Seattle. Joining the SharePoint team. Speaking with so many of you on the circuit. Leaders that support you. Anyone else with me? You have a click? Yeah? We have some clicks, don't we? Listen, feel the clicks. We talk about community a lot. I know I do. And when I say community, what do you say? Yes, I love it. Especially right now in the world, right? We love to talk about community as support, and support matters. It does. But to me, that's the baseline. Showing up is the baseline. And yes, real community shows you who you are. Sometimes clearly, sometimes uncomfortably, and sometimes before you are ready. And sometimes it reflects a version of yourself that you've outgrown and that you're still holding on to, and that you're clinging to really tightly. Yeah? Yeah, I see some people nodding. Yeah. But the right room, one like this, yeah, it stretches you. The right room will stretch you. The wrong room, or person, or job will kind of help you stay the same. You know? The right room doesn't just make you feel good, it does make you see yourself differently. Community can be a mirror. And this is where it gets more interesting to me, because community doesn't just reflect who you are, it shapes what you believe is possible for yourself. Our imaginations sometimes can have this invisible ceiling, quietly defining what is normal and what is allowed and what may be out of reach, right? And over time, you learn what is normal, and that becomes your baseline. Not a funky baseline like Prince would put down, right? Dearly beloved. But if no one around you is evolving, you start to think that staying same is the normal, right? The opposite, though, is true. Who you surround yourself with determines what you believe is possible. In rooms where people are expanding and changing and thinking and being creative and growing, you don't just witness it. You start to believe that you can do those things too. Becoming doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in conversations, it happens in reflection, and it happens in friction sometimes too. So when we talk about community, it isn't about just who you know or do you feel supported. Maybe something more significant. Who are you becoming because of the people around you? And more importantly, who are they becoming because of you? Yeah? We all are becoming. Community is not something we just receive. It's something that we actively shape. And every time we show up, like you all, you showed up here. You came to Orlando. Yeah? Some of you are here for the first time. Yeah, woo woo. Yeah. Think of why you decided to come do this thing. You decided to show up here, be present. Maybe you're looking for that new version or that inspiration or that thing that you want to try or figure out. There's a lot going on, isn't there, in this world right now? There's opportunities to the left and to the right of you all week long. I hope you have gained some new perspective. I hope you've made some friendships. I hope you have shared LinkedIn QR codes with other people, right? And if you're sitting there right now, you could do that to the people to your right and left, of course, because you're all here for the same thing. You are part of, like Jeff said, and he always says, the best community in tech. Yeah, give yourselves a round of applause, because you really are. So when we show up, every person in this room, we are shaping who we are becoming every moment of every day. And the best thing that we can do in our lives is cultivate deep personal relationships with other people. It's huge, right? Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, I got an over here. Yeah, okay. So I also want to take a second to thank a bunch of people. Many of you know, because I've been on stage and running around a lot and DJing and whatnot, is that I am an executive producer for Microsoft for this event. And I just want to say thank you to all of you who are speakers, MVPs, who have brought your wonderful sessions and done so much hard work. The crew behind us, the crew in front of us, the next gen team, everybody who has just brought it. And Microsoft MVPs, you all are awesome. Thank you so much, MGCI. But I just say, again, life is really short. I think we all know that. And taking every moment you can to be in community, to look for that mirror, to take the moments and take a second with them. Enjoy them. They're so fast, And I know that we all have clicks in our lives that are important to us. I want you to just sit for 1 second. Remember a click. There's something that clicks for you? Yeah? Those moments are that fast sometimes too. It's a word, it's a song, it's a moment. Those are the defining moments of our lives. Yes, we have the big ones too. The big defining moments, graduation, new jobs, relationships, all of that stuff. Those are those defining moments, right? But there's these little moments that add up to the big ones. So I want to thank you so much for being here this week and for showing up and to think about some clicks. That's it from me. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you.
Here I am again. I'm starting to feel like this is my living room. And we're just having a little party here, having conversations. It's fantastic. Thank you both for joining us today. This is so important to have you both here. I am thrilled. I have the best job. I have the best job. We're coming to the close of an amazing few days of learning and community and events and what have you. But first off, Dan, you flew in all the way just last night from Barcelona. Tell our audience a little bit about who you are.
Right. So my name is Dan, obviously. I co-authored a couple of books on corporate innovation, but my background is actually engineering. So I worked with a lot of startups, worked in corporate for a very long time. And then at one point being frustrated with the way innovation happens in large organizations, instead of going to therapy, I decided to write a book. Which is actually great because in therapy you have to pay. In the book, you actually might make some money, or you might get to these cool events, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
So now I'm working with my team at Outcome, helping large organizations become better at growth. So everything that is around strategy, everything that's around governance, how do you build the next S-curve while at the same time running your core business?
Yeah. There's moments in your career where you end up on stage with somebody and you're like, oh, I need to hear more from this gentleman. I got to meet him when I was in Switzerland in Davos for UNDavos, the World Economic Forum, and the MIT event that we do there. And I just thought, oh yeah, I need to bring him to the community so he can, share some of that great knowledge. And of course, Kia, I'm so happy that you're here. I have to tell you all, I've been having to control my fangirling like ever since they arrived. It's like I'm going to just be a complete geek about it. But share with everyone a little bit about your history and all of the amazing work that you've done.
Hello, everyone.
Hey!
Excited to be here. Kia Vaughn, 14-year retired WNBA veteran. I played abroad internationally for 13 years, retired over there. I won a national championship with Fenerbahce. For anyone who follows soccer, it's a big, big team in Europe. I won MVP with that team, multiple franchises in the WNBA. New York born and bred.
Yeah, we love that.
And I am a new mommy of a 2-year-old named Charlie.
Who is here, by the way? Where is Charlie?
Mom.
Hi,
So
Charlie.
she says, Mommy.
Hey, girl.
Okay.
She is so cute. Oh my God. Fantastic. Well, thank you for taking the time. So we're here to talk about leadership and change and how we weave all of that together in some measurable and meaningful ways as we think about AI. Kay, I think a lot of people don't seem to understand that professional athletes are actually business people.
Yes.
Right? You're business people as well. And because your career may be short on the court, but you have a long career in other ways with different roles and what have you. So as you think about being the CEO of your own brand, how are you looking at technology? And I know you've been using Copilot to really help you with that.
It has. I've been using Copilot for everything, Charlie's sick, whatever it is. But more so with being the CEO of my brand, what's next, what being a coach would look like for a former player, just helping me clear my thoughts, being more like clarity and strategically thinking. So Copilot has helped in that sense of what could be next, what it would look like potentially, salaries here and franchises. So it's helped in that sense to just calm me down, give me something like a plan-wise to actually look at.
That is fantastic. Take notes, folks. We can all do this, right? Use Copilot as your strategic coach. That is so useful. Dan, do you think the executives that you work with all around the world, do you think they understand that? Do you think that they're doing that, using Copilot or any other AI tools to really reflect and plan?
Probably they are. The majority are. The problem with the way that they use it is that they're trying to do the things that they did in the past faster or better, instead of thinking, how can I do more with what I already have? They're trying to do the same, but more efficient. I'm not saying that one replaces the other, but they're only looking at half of the story and half of what AI can actually do for them personally, but also for the companies that they work for.
Yeah. Is driving cultural change with executives different than doing it at scale with your kind of standard business worker, information worker?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the job of the executive to drive cultural change. I mean, everybody can, look at an Excel and start, firing some people, hiring some people, create a new business vertical or a new product. But at the end of the day, your job there is to create a culture, and the culture is basically what happens when you're not looking. When you're not looking, when you're turning your back, is the thing still working? That's the result of culture, and that's the job of most executives. And if they are not there thinking about it this way, they are just middle managers with a lot of power.
Okay,
No
I'm gonna
offense
write
to middle managers.
Yeah, right. Like me. Yeah, right. No offense, right? Middle manager, lots of power, but I'm doing the work. I swear I am. He's making me feel very insecure in this moment. Do you have, but that's what learning is, right? Learning is being a little bit uncomfortable. So I can open my mind up to new ideas. So I appreciate that. Kay, you have a reputation as a player for how prepared you are, right? And really providing support and care. I know that comes from your background a little bit. I want you to share a little bit about that, but also, how does that contribute? How does that ability to coach and care contribute to being an international champion?
So with being a player's player, it comes with preparation, being consistent day in and day out, showing up as your authentic self, but a hard worker. My work ethic spoke for itself. It allowed me to put out a product for who I am, to show my teammates that I'm a hard worker, I'm here to listen to them, to care for them. And showing up gave them confidence in me. Building that trust with them allowed me to build that chemistry and bond as a player, a teammate, and a leader, which ultimately helped us win a championship for Europe.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you also come from a very big family.
I do. I am one of 8, the only girl, oldest. My mom has 2 boys. My father has 5. So I've been mother role, second mother, big sister, big protector, a leader in my own right since I was a child. Forced upon me, but okay. Thank you, Mom. I love you, girl.
Well, I'm enamored with that because I'm an only child.
Oh.
So you know what that means.
And I juggle with, should I have been the only child because I'm the only girl?
Yeah, who knows? There's a conversation there, but maybe for later. So, I have a friend inside Microsoft who talks about luck actually being opportunity meeting preparedness, right? And so when we prepare, when we're ready for the opportunities that come along, it looks like on the outside like it's some kind of luck, but it actually isn't. Dan, I feel like this ability to prepare is an important part of understanding successful patterns. When you're working with organizations around the globe, what are some of the successful patterns you see in people driving cultural change, driving, meaningful use of AI and those sorts of projects?
Yeah, very important, in particular in the world we live in, right, where AI is everywhere, where we want to have AI everywhere, is to create an environment. I'm talking about psychological safety here. Create an environment where your teams, your employees can experiment, but experiment without penalty. And this is very, very important because we tend to, whenever we go into a project, set ourselves some goals, and then if we fall short, we're looking for what went wrong or who went wrong. So it's very important to step aside from that old mindset and move into the mindset of giving people freedom, obviously keeping them accountable. Don't write them a blank check, hey, do whatever you want. But create an environment where it's safe and it's okay to fail, because that's the only way in which you're going to get better as an organization. The team is going to get better with their product. So very important psychological safety. I think that's the main. Yeah, that's the main pattern I'm seeing literally across. It doesn't mean if it's pharma or energy or automotive, regardless of industry, you have to create that space. And then very important, governance, a word that I know you love a lot.
I do. Pitter patter my little heart. I just love governance.
Create the governance, right? Because otherwise you're just competing against luck. So
yeah, and that is not a good thing. We want to have a little predictability in our environments where we can create that. Governance is an important part of how we move forward. Executive governance, decision governance. I know many of us think of governance in terms of the technical governance around Microsoft 365 and the way that we deploy it and what have you. But you're really speaking about governance a little bit more broadly. Help folks understand that.
We're talking in general, talking about how do we govern over uncertainty. So how do we build the right accounting mechanisms? How do we build the right decision-making framework? How do we build our processes so that growth becomes a repeatable process? Luck is not a strategy. That's number one, right? Luck is not a strategy. So how do we make growth a repeatable formula that later we can replicate, or we can double down on, or we can just have more of the same if we want to do more of the same. So that's what governance means in our world.
That's a great insight there. Key, I want to ask you, what is it? Have you been in environments, and I'm sure you have, but I want to understand how psychological safety manifests itself in a team environment, in your experience? Like, how are people making players feel safe to move forward, to develop their skills, to really lean in and learn? Because I find that if I don't feel safe, I have a very difficult time learning from something that maybe could have been improved, as opposed to just using it, to beat up on myself or being in denial that it went badly at all.
Yes. I wholeheartedly believe that safety, in order for you to feel safe, you have to feel comfortable. You have to trust an individual. That comes with consistent communication, being honest and open, sharing whatever like your experiences are to make them feel like they're normal, but listening to what they have, whatever issue it is, whatever concerns they have. Sometimes you have to hold someone's hands and help maneuver them through whatever it looks like for the individual. That builds trust, and then you'll feel comfortable. And then from there, you can produce and excel in areas where you may feel stressed and strained because you built and created a bond within an environment where you thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that the environments that you've been in have directly impacted, and I'm sure you've had different coaches, I know you have. Do you think that that's directly impacted your ability to play well and show up well?
Yes, my coaches, starting from my AAU coach, backstory, my mother.
Hey, Mom.
She forced me to play basketball when I was 13. I always say that she had a whisper from God who told her that I needed to play basketball because I had a growth spurt. I don't know, right? I was called the Jolly Green Giant, if you all consider it.
Yes.
But when I met Apache Pascal, who coached me AAU, my godfather who passed away from cancer, he helped instill values and helped with building confidence. So that environment taught me in a sense of learning basketball through dancing and singing and rope and whatever it was. I sung the rules of the game. It was very entertaining, but it pulled the best out of me and it helped me learn and love the game. And then I transitioned to high school playing with him, but college was just on a whole nother level with Hall of Famer C. Vivian Stringer, who took me under her wings. She was a second mother. And with her, the way she moves through life so gracefully, so unapologetic, I always say, she's a little lady, but you hear her steps. She makes sure she's in the room. She demands respect at all levels. She instilled those values in us, and at the college level, with helping us understand that the world isn't going to be easy. The world isn't going to give you anything, no handouts. Go and take it. And then my favorite quote from her is, don't accept any crumbs. Whatever is on the table, you demand it. You want it, you crave it, work hard, and go and get it. So those environments, along with the environment my mom created for me and my brothers, helped me become the woman that I am today, the athlete that I was, who I'll be in the future, and the mom that I am to Charlie.
That is fantastic. That's awesome. Yeah, let's give it up for that. That was spectacular. Dan, we talked a little bit earlier about the culture of the innovation department. And what Kiva was just sharing reminded me of the fact that, yes, there can be unique ways that we approach innovation and what have you, but we still, in many respects, need to show up as business people. Give us some of your insights on how innovation departments and people leading innovation need to work differently.
Yeah, they need to, if you want to be taken serious, you need to be connected with the core business. Otherwise, you're going to be seen as a research lab, the geeks that are running around in hula shirts. Again, no offense to people that love hula shirts. Currently, I'm on stage now,
I'm looking at you, Brian. I'm looking at you there, dude. Sorry, I had to do that.
I love the shirt. We're not talking about your hula shirt. Yeah, so it's very important to be seen as a real function, right? An executive sees marketing as a real function. They see HR as a real function. They don't see innovation as a real function. Because for a very long time, innovation has created basically this image of themselves. Oh, we're just special. We're trying out new stuff. We are so much cooler than everyone. Well, the moment when you want to be taken serious, you need to start taking your work serious. How do you do that? You set goals. You measure stuff. Again, I wrote an entire book about measuring innovation, right? So you start measuring stuff. You go to the executive committee, you go to the board saying, hey, whenever there's a crisis, us in innovation can actually step up and help you work through that crisis. Work through that crisis with new ideas, work through the crisis with the use of new technologies, whatever it might be. This is how you become an indispensable function. You become exactly like marketing is. I haven't heard an executive say, oh, we're going to cut out the finance department because there's the economic crisis. Or there's a blip in the economy, so the marketing department needs to slash 50% of their workforce. What I've heard is that the innovation department needs to disappear. That's what I heard a lot. It happened to me. So how do you prevent that? You start talking basically business through pragmatism, through goals, through processes, through governance.
And that's why it's so important that as we sit here and think about how we're going to evolve our careers, we have to be practical and pragmatic and data-driven and bring that information in executive, consumable ways to the executives that we serve. But then we also have to turn around to our teams and allow them to be creative, create that psychological safety so that they can innovate and bring new ideas to the table. That is what is so challenging about being one of those middle managers, with power, but maybe not real resources. I'm not going to forget that, am I? But this is the conundrum of being in that middle space. And again, this isn't the big, broad accountability for you, but you're working and trying to do this on your own team, right? And I certainly know in the heart of IT, oftentimes, at least when I worked in IT, I didn't always feel appreciated. I'm not sure I would say that I felt psychologically safe all the time, right? Because it was a very stressful environment. But now with AI coming along and changing our jobs so much, and from an IT perspective, there's so much more that we can do. Well, we're coming up on the end of our time. I want to, Dan, tell us, what is the biggest opportunity we have now with AI from your perspective?
I think that we are in a position, and this is going to be very interesting. I mean, we're living in a golden age of innovation, to be honest with you. Although it comes with a lot of friction, we still live in a golden age. I think it's going to be very interesting in the next few years. We're going to see solo entrepreneurs building billion-dollar businesses. This is my opinion. Why? Because I can now outsource so much of the stuff I had to do before with the team to AI, and then I'm going to have multiple agents working. I can still have the vision of the company. I can still have the vision for that particular product. And then I'm going to have AI build it for me, and then multiple AI layers working in conjunction. I think this is the big opportunity. And if executives in large organizations don't realize this today, we're not going to see a lot of these companies around in the next 10, 15 years. I mean, look at what's happening in defense, right? We used to build very expensive systems, defense systems that were costing, $500,000 a pop. And now they are being disrupted by drones that cost $5,000 and less.
Right.
And this is going to happen in every single industry, not just defense. So as an executive, you have to understand that disruption is around the corner. And as an entrepreneur, just go and build it, because you are literally living in a golden age. You can see $1 billion business being built by one single individual with the power of AI.
Right.
Brought to you by Microsoft.
That's my brother right there. That was bam. All righty. That was good. No, I couldn't have written that. That was epic. It's so important to have that kind of a vision and a positive vision. And I know that we live in a multi-vendor universe. So even though that's lovely, I know that there's many people who have seats at this table, but who I'm most concerned with having a seat at the table is people at large. Key, how do we make sure that we're bringing the community along in the realization of that future?
Bringing the community along, I feel as though we have to stay connected, being honest and open, sharing whatever you may learn, whatever experiences you've had, whether it's a win or a loss, and just continuing to understand that things continue to evolve. So being okay with change and just like preparation. So that will bring people along when you just hand in hand continue to consistently show up and communicate with each other.
That is awesome. This is the world that I want to live in, and this is the world that we can all create together. Thank you both so much for sharing the stage with me and with our audience today and sharing your insights. Really appreciate it. And
Thank you.
yes.
Because when you spoke about, to elaborate, with feeling safe,
Yes.
sometimes we need more assurance, reassurance every day, a little bit more like, you're okay, this is good, you're doing well, this is your job, right?
This would be nice.
It would be nice,
Is
right?
anybody out there listening? Yes. What do we call that? Words of affirmation. I tell that to my husband. I need acts of service and words of affirmation. Let's get with the program there, Bob. That is excellent. All right, we're going to wrap this up and then we're going to move on to the next thing. We have more for you and it's going to be fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is the best community in tech. It's not even close, right?
Folks, give it up for co-work. That's a beautiful Word document.
That agent is going to do mind-boggling stuff.
Yeah, you can clap for that. That's all right. What makes this technology great is when we build it together with the people doing the real innovation. And that's all of you in this room.
This has been fun. Hasn't this been fun? I have just been having such a wonderful time. But you know something? We're at that point where I am the thing between you and your next cocktail. And I am aware of that. So, be thinking about what's next. It could be that cocktail. But actually, I am a fan of surprises. All right? I'm a fan of surprises. And we have a new surprise that is going to make someone in this audience very happy. I'd like to bring to the stage Brian O'Connell. Brian, you want to come on up, my friend? He is going to bring out, look at you, dressed to kill with this fantastic, beautiful guitar, signed by Jeff Teeper, I do believe, signed by Jeff Teeper. And what's going to happen, Brian?
So what we're going to ask you to do is we're going to have you reach under the chair that you have and see if you have a sheet of paper under there that says the word guitar.
And it's not the label to the chair. It's a bigger sheet of paper than that. Let's see what happens. Somebody's going to find it. Somebody is. Where is it?
To the right.
All right, people. It's turned into a scavenger hunt. You didn't know you were going to do a scavenger hunt at this point of the day, did you?
All right. So I'm going to give you a little hint. It's over in the section there.
Oh, we found it. Come on up. Come on down. Come on over here, please. The lovely attendee who found that. Come on over. Fantastic. Our lucky winner is going to take home this fantastic guitar, which we appreciate. We will help you get it home. Come on up on the stage. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. There we go. Yes, you did. You won. That's so wonderful. Okay, let's get a quick picture here. Let's get a quick picture. We'll take that. You hold that, and let's get a picture. Fantastic. Look right over there. Excellent. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And we're going to let you come right down on these stairs. Be careful. And we're going to have you go right to the back. Let's have you go right to the back. Ma'am, go right to the back. Go to the back. There you go. There you go. And I know you have some other announcements, Brian. What are you going to share with folks?
I have some wonderful announcements. The first one is you will not have to do a password reset or software update on that guitar.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for being here. Thank you for a wonderful week. As you can see up on the screen, we will be in Las Vegas next year at the iconic MGM Grand Las Vegas May 4th to May 6th. We hope to see you there. And now, without further ado, the wonderful Karuana will take back over.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. They're fantastic partners, and a big shout out and thank you to all the sponsors who make this show possible and all the people who contribute to it. So what I want to do is just like switch our context for just a moment, okay? What you heard from Ryan in our day one keynote, remember all the way back on day one? He asked you, what is your moonshot? And I hope you've been thinking about that a little bit as you've been going through and going to all the sessions and getting educated. Because it could be your personal moonshot, but it can be your organizational one as well. But it's so critically important to get aligned on what is next for you and your organization and what that big mission is. You also heard Heather ask you this: who are you becoming here? Right? Who are you becoming here? And what does that mean to you as you go through this? I am going to ask you something a little bit different. I want to ask you something a little bit different. I want to know, who are you doing it for? Who are you doing this work for? Is it your family, yourself, your organization, its mission? Like, who are you really doing this for? Somehow it's become unpopular to be deeply convicted about things, because we know that being deeply convicted about our own ideas, holding on too tightly, can become toxic. But I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about meaning and hope, about developing meaning and hope. But hope today, it requires a certain degree of conviction, but it also requires some fortitude and some grit to hold on to that hope about what the future is actually going to look like. That's why it's so important to know who motivates you. Who are you doing this work for? And it's perfectly okay if that's for yourself, for your own sense of achievement, right? But it's important to know that answer. I am very clear on who I do this work for. I am absolutely crystal clear on it. Every single day, I think about my ancestors. I know that I am the example. I am living their wildest dream. And I don't mean just my Kenyan and European historical ancestors. I mean my mom and my grandmother. They had hopes and dreams and ambitions, but not necessarily the opportunities that I've had. Right? And so I know that it's important to remember that we are all part of a continuum of human existence. What came before us matters. What we leave as a legacy matters in our daily lives and our work and our connections and the way that we engage with each other. I also know that I do it for all of you. I do it for the people like you that I have met all around the world who have shared stories with me about how being a part of this community and really leaning in has changed their lives, has changed the trajectory of their careers. I want to thank the people, some of whom I see in this audience, who have come up and you've shared your story with me about how my team's work has impacted you. But I'm just one of many people for whom are having that experience here. It is very, very motivating. But I have a deep conviction that my hope is not misplaced in this community. I'm very, very sure that everything we do, when we do it together, we will move forward, because everything right now really is a team sport. Whether it's SharePoint, it could be Microsoft Teams, it could be AI. But the point is that life is a team sport. Right? And it doesn't make any difference who you are or where you happen to be at this particular moment in time. Right? What's important is to understand that here, right now, together, we can have a sustainable future. But we can't do that if we don't have a shared vision, if we don't have shared imagination, if we don't feel safe enough, as our fantastic panel told us, to share our ideas with each other. But here we can do that. Here we can have a shared vision. We can have this ability to be safe with each other. We can learn together. Here we can change the world. This is not some small moment in time. This is not a fluke that you were here at this moment. Right? You're here at this moment because you have been preparing for this all along. You've been thinking about this and doing great work with technology all along. And now along comes this transformation that none of us could have expected. If you would have asked me a little while ago that I would be sitting on a stage talking actually about AI, like real AI, not Star Trek AI. Of course, I do maybe have, transporter. I do want my transporter beam. I do want all of those things. But this is actual reality. right? And we are the ones who are crafting it. So I'm going to ask you to remember you are part of a continuum of existence. You do not stand alone. You aren't doing this alone. You have this community, you have all of us, and here as a team, we can win. I know that we can win together. And I just want to ask you, are you ready? Are you ready to win? Are you ready to win together? Come on. Well, I want to hear it from all of you. Let's get after it. Let's get after it. I know we can do this together. We absolutely do have an exciting future ahead. And I am just so privileged and so happy that you give us your time, that you come to this event, and that you share yourselves with all of us. So I'm not going to stand between you and that refreshment any longer. I want to thank you again for coming to the Microsoft 365 Community Conference, and make sure that you are staying connected with us. Find that community event near you. Make sure that everyone around you knows that they're part of your team, right? Because that sense of belonging matters now, that human connection. It's exciting when we do this together and when we focus on winning together in service of something greater than ourselves. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful time. Travel safely to wherever you're going. And I can't wait to see you all again very soon. Thank you. Thank you so much.